Did you grow up with music in your life?
Um, yeah, I did and I didn't. I didn't grow up in a musical household per se. Neither of my parents are musicians. My dad was in real estate. My mom was in catering. But my dad was very creative. He had a brief career as like a fashion designer, making leather goods, and he made a leather jacket for like Muhammad Ali and a trumpet
Wow.
bag for Miles Davis. He was also in construction, so our apartment was always like changing. And so there was a creative spark around me. It just wasn't focused on music at the time. Um, but I remember driving around with my dad in his Ford Thunderbird, and he would blast Bon Jovi, "Shot Through the Heart" and Journey's "Don't Stop Believing" while we'd like ride down Miami. And that was my earliest memory of music. And I think I realized quickly that anytime I hear those songs, even to this day, I'm like back in that car with my dad. I can feel the leather. I can see the dashboard. Um, I can smell it, and it encapsulates like a moment in time. And so for me, that was my earliest memory of music. And then from there, discovering guitar at like 11,
Mm.
I uh, I was like off to the races. But that's definitely my earliest memory of music in my life.
Yeah. So was your dad pretty supportive? Like when you have that memory of riding in that car with him, singing Bon Jovi, um, was he as enthusiastic as you in those moments? And w- sort of like, was he the one who kind of gave you that confirmation that, yeah, like this could be a good path for you?
He was very supportive in a I don't think he originally knew that was going to be my career path. I think I was like 11, and I had some friends that two of my best friends, one picked up the guitar and one played piano, and we'd all hang out, and then I was like left out. And so I was like, I need an instrument. So I was like, Dad, can you get me a guitar? And he instantly got me a guitar and was super supportive. I think going into school in college, it's always concerning to a parent when they're like, I'm not sure if I want to do school or I need school. And I had gotten some scholarships to go to schools, and I did some like university for like a couple of years, but I knew that wasn't my path to be a music producer. And even though outwardly he would say, you need a backup, you need to do this, and I would take jobs while I was trying to be a music producer. I did real estate, painted houses, and worked at stores and taught music. um, he was always actively supporting me. He was always there behind me saying, "You're never gonna fall. I'll always catch you, but you do need
Mm.
to go make some money in the world." And so yeah, he always lit a fire under me that I might not, I might fall, but he was always there to make sure I was good.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like for parents that don't really know much about this field or this space, um, I feel like there's always concern about making a living
Yep.
from this thing called music, right? Because
Yeah.
traditionally, a lot of people who do attempt creative work, um, they may not make money for a really long time, or they may never make money. Um,
Yep.
was there some sort of like moment along that where you're like, maybe you sold your first track or whatever, and it kind of alleviated that concern for your dad or anything?
Yeah, there was definitely a moment because early on you don't know what you don't know. So I thought 3 months I'll be Timberland, we'll be fine. Um, I think it took me 3 years to get my first placement. I think the first turning point was I had produced a song on the Birdman album called what's the name of the song? It ended up being My Life, with The Game and Lil Wayne. And they took the hook from that song that I did with Birdman and Lil Wayne and redid it. Cool and Dre reproduced it as a song for The Game called My Life. And my dad calls me and is like, "Hey, there's a check here for $30,000."
Whoa.
And I was like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to get paid $700 from the beat I sold like 8 months ago. Like, what? And he's like, "Yeah." And sure enough, that was just like a quarter royalty check for my life. And he was like, "Oh, there's actual money here. You could do this." And I was like,
Mm.
"Yeah." To be honest, it was shocking to me.
Yeah.
um, so I think that was like the turning point where I realized this is a business. There is money there, and I can make a living doing this if I work hard enough. Which is kind of like any business. I looked at it. My dad was very business oriented, so I looked at music production as like a startup. You know,
Mm.
there's going to be a burn rate in the beginning. I'm going to be losing, and I have to put the time in, build up my clients, and eventually I can get there. That was like the first confirmation of that.